All right, hey guys, let's go ahead and get started on Greece quiz number 1. This is 2.0 through 2.8 review. At any time, make sure you can pause and fill in your Google Slides, and then you'll be able to come back and look over this right before you take the quiz on Wednesday and Thursday. So that should be a helpful tool. If you look over the study guide and this, you should be good to go for Wednesday and Thursday's quiz. All right, so directions, basically you're gonna do this, you're gonna watch the video, which you're already watching now, pause whenever you need to fill in the blank spots on your Google Slides. When you're finished, to make sure you submit the assignment, and then you can work on your study guide if it's not finished, or you can work on the quizzes on the final slide or in the stream. All right, so first thing is a quick geography review. All right, so if I click the globe, like it says to do in the directions, it's gonna take me to that geography assignment we did a while ago. Remember, where we moved these to the correct locations. All right, so I'm going to move what I remember. And then when I'm all done, after I take my guesses and I move everything where I want, I'm going to hit check. And then after I'm done, as long as I have, like, I don't know, a 12 or a 13 out of 15, I'm going to screenshot. Remember how to screenshot is hitting the control and the rectangle with the 3 lines on the right, all right, up at the top of your keyboard. So you're going to screenshot that. Then, so that control and that rectangle with the 3 lines, you're going to screenshot that. You're going to copy it and you're going to paste it onto the slide. Okay, and if you can't figure it out, you can raise your hand and ask the sub or a neighbor, or if you really can't figure it out, just put on here, hey, I did it. All right, I couldn't figure out how to screenshot. All right, but make sure you practice that. Just a quick geography review. All right, the next part. All right, so this is one of our short answer questions. All right, and it says, it gives us a quick review of a kingdom and empire in a city-state. All right, and so what it wants us to explain is how a kingdom becomes an empire. And how a kingdom becomes an empire is when, and you would write this in complete sentences, right? Because this is a short answer question. All right, so you would put a kingdom becomes an empire when it conquers more kingdoms and rules them as one. All right, so a kingdom, remember, is any country, state, or territory ruled by a king or queen. All right, and so they don't become an empire until they conquer other kingdoms. So if we say the school, okay, so each room is a kingdom. All right, so Queen Lindsay of room 400, you have King Gaber of whatever room number he is, all right, and you have all these individual kingdoms. Now, my land, the kingdom of Lindsay, becomes an empire when I conquer Mr. Gaber's kingdom, when I conquer Mrs. Trakela's kingdom, and when I conquer Mr. Harris's kingdom. And now I rule over all of those, right? That's when I become an empire, when I conquer and rule all those other kingdoms, all right? So a kingdom becomes an empire when it conquers more kingdoms and rules them as one, right? That is what we're looking for the answer for number 1, okay? Number 2, why did city-states develop in ancient Greece? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and restate our question. City, I probably should capitalize, states developed in ancient Greece because travel was difficult. If I could spell, that would be good, right? Travel was difficult and it isolated Greeks from each other. So you're not going to have this kind of where they go and conquer each other because travel was just too difficult to do it. The landscape, the islands, the peninsulas, the mountains, all right, their terrain is actually going to make it really impossible for these huge empires or kingdoms to take place. The city-states are going to develop because they're small, and because they don't have a lot of contact with each other, they're going to rule like they're their own individual nation or state. Right? Remember, by definition, a city-state is the size of a city, but is run as its own individual state or nation. And because they're so isolated from all the mountains and the peninsulas and the water, they're going to develop these city-states because of that. All right, so that is part 1 of your Greek government review. Part 2 is the differences between a representative and direct democracy. All right, so we just want the differences here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and look at that. All right, so in a direct democracy, all citizens vote and participate in the government directly. All right, meaning no matter what it is, whether we're voting on a new, I don't know, like stop sign, or whether we're voting on President of the United States, in a direct democracy, you vote on everything. All right, every little thing in every little location, it's voted upon as the group. All right, and the majority wins. All right, obviously, this can only work, all right, in a small place, all right, even a state the size of Ohio, or even the city of Copley or Fairlawn. Honestly, a direct democracy would be really hard to bring everyone together to vote on every single issue. All right, in a representative democracy, people, or citizens, I should say, elect representatives to vote or make laws for them. All right, so obviously in a place as big as the United States, we have to use a representative democracy because we're just so big. Our population is so large. All right, so we have to elect representatives to vote or make the laws for us. All right, so those are the key differences. All right. Okay, so moving on to government part 3. All right, you have to know the governments. There's a lot of questions. If you don't know what each government is and how each one led to the other, then you're going to struggle on the quiz. Okay, so remember that monarchy is rule by one and you inherit the position. All right. So monarchy, rule by one, usually a monarch is the head of a kingdom or an empire, and you inherit the position, meaning the only way you become king or queen is if your parents or some like distant relative was king or queen and you inherit the throne. You are not elected, you are not chosen. It's just who basically your parents were. Oligarchy, remember, is rule by a few. And remember, these are the aristocrats, all right? Those rich, fancy pants people that are ruling. Because remember, they were the ones that helped the monarchs rule, okay? So rule by a few, and those were the aristocrats. And remember, the people were like, why are we letting these rich, fancy people that have no idea what our life is like rule us? And that's when they switched to the tyrant. And remember, a tyrant rules by force. It is sometimes called a dictatorship. All right. And so remember, a tyrant wasn't always necessarily bad. It sounds bad, but sometimes they had good intentions. But what happened with the tyranny is you had that revolving door, that instability of one tyrant to another. There was no set like rules. If this guy dies or we don't like him anymore, like what do we do with him? All right. And so that caused a lot of chaos. You had constant civil war about fighting who should be in charge and who shouldn't. And finally, the people were like, wait, why do we even need a ruler? And that's where we came up with the idea of rule by the people in a democracy. All right. And so that's how we got to that. Remember, in a democracy, though, only 15% of the population can vote, right? Because only 15% of the population is a citizen. All right. So on the quiz, you need to be able to provide 2 reasons why you think one of these governments is best. Okay. I don't care which one you pick. All right. Now, the easy choice would be I think a democracy is the best because the people rule and they get to vote. All right. But you could put a monarchy is the best because it's rule by one and it's easy to make decisions. All right. I don't care which one you choose as long as you don't put tyranny because the word is cool. All right. Or tyranny because I would make an excellent tyrant. It needs to be a logistical sort of answer. All right. So you have to be able to provide 2 reasons why you think one of these governments is best. And you're going to answer that in this little box right here. Okay. But that's practice again for the quiz on, this is the part you're taking on Thursday. All right. So we are through government and we are moving on to Greek mythology. Now, this one I think is a super easy question. Can you name 2 gods and what they controlled? All right, any 2 gods. I don't care which 2 you pick. All right, so I'm going to go with the easy, and I'm going to say Zeus, god of the, you can do whatever one you want, of the sky. And you don't have to do complete sentences for this one. And I'm going to do Hades, god of the underworld. Boom, I'm done. All right, and that's exactly what it looks like on the quiz. You just have to be able to name 2 gods, and what did each of those gods do, or what were their powers? All right, so that's one of your short answers as well. All right, moving on. All right, the next thing you're going to do is complete this Ancient Greece quiz number 1 review. Now, I will tell you, play this and play this multiple times because I made this while looking at the quiz. I even copy and pasted some questions from the quiz into this quizzes. This is going to be a big one for you. So play this as much as you can till you get 100% on it. All right, but you're going to go ahead and open up that link. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to play, and then you're going to screenshot your final score and copy and paste it on this slide. And remember to screenshot, you hit that control and the rectangle with the 3 lines. All right, and so that's what you're going to do for this slide. And then finally, you're looking for more to do. Your study guide's done. You want to be really prepared for your quiz. Here are all the quizzes that we have done throughout the unit. And then when you're done, make sure you submit so I can give you credit. All right. Doing this, guys, not only gives you some easy points in the grade book, but it also will help you review for your quiz that is tomorrow and Thursday. All right. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email and I'll talk to you real soon. See you later, guys. Have a great day.